welcome. This is Shanna today with Pixi Dust Designs, and I'm here to show you some ways to step up a die set using dies you have in your stash maybe, or today we're actually using the new handbag box from Pixi Dust Designs. It comes with a variety of pieces, and on screen I'll show you how to put it together and how you can alter it to use some pattern paper in addition. So this die set was really well thought out. It comes with additional handle pieces that both reinforce and add some contrast, this cute bow that will help hold the box together at the end, and really nice score lines for all of the folding. The folding happens pretty easily because those score lines are already indented into the paper. I like to make really crisp folds. Right here I'm just kind of showing you how easy it folds together, and we're going to actually assemble the box later on in this video. But it gives it like a little gusset to this little treat box, making it look like an adorable little handbag. Today I'm going to show you how to use some of the 6x6 Valentine paper from Pixi Dust Design to decorate just the front, allowing you still to use a more inexpensive solid cardstock for the actual treat bag, and it allows some fun contrast. So I grabbed a piece of this love pattern paper with the cute little envelopes, and I'm showing you how I just play with the alignment. So bringing it over to my cutting mat, I'm just making sure that's all aligned up so it still goes straight across. I only partially die cut this out because I don't need that entire piece, and I'm actually going to trim off these bottom and side pieces. I darkened them with a little bit of pencil first so you can see, and it allows me to line it up a little easier on my paper trimmer. The other perk is I can sit and fold down along that score line, and I know exactly where I need to cut. So I am just trimming this down to the exact same size of that facing. I don't need that top piece to be perfectly curved because we're going to cover that with the contrasting handle piece anyhow. So I just needed a piece to cover. Now we're going to assemble the box. I did speed this up because I find that the folds are really straightforward on this set. I am using a bone folder, Teflon bone folder, to make sure they're nice and crisp. And then we're just going to use some wet adhesive to put it together. I love how versatile this die is. I can use it for a birthday treat, Valentine treat, Easter treats. The possibilities are endless because the shape is so adorable, but not specific to any one holiday. A little bit of color changes and pattern paper changes, and everything will go together. So we're doing red with the pattern paper for Valentine's in today's project, but you could do maybe a pastel pink and some Easter paper in another one, or put some balloons on it for a birthday treat. So many options. A gift card would fit really cute in this. Change up the candies, all of it. I just like how I can use it for so many different things. I did use wet adhesive here. You could use tear tape. I like the maneuverability of wet adhesive. It lets me kind of slide the pieces around until they're lined up exactly where I want it. And after this is all put together, I'm going to set it aside so we can work on this front panel. So here I'm showing you kind of how it still lines up even after the box is put together. And I'm going to bring in the Puppy Pals stamp set from Pixi Dust Designs. I colored this adorable little pup off screen and die cut it with the coordinating pixie cuts, but I thought him holding that envelope was too cute to go with the pattern paper. I'm grabbing a sentiment from the same set that says hugs and kisses, and I want to stretch it across the front of this paper. I'm going to heat emboss it on black, but I was trying to figure out my placement, so I made sure I had enough room for both the pup to sit to the side and the sentiment to fix. So after I get that done, I'm going to take some embossing ink and my anti-static tool. Black paper has a nasty habit with me of wanting to stick all of the embossing powder to, so I make sure I use the anti-static, and then I'm going to stamp it with the ink. Grabbing some white heat powder, I'm going to tap off the excess and then just heat emboss as per usual. I love white on black paper. It's pretty classic, timeless, and goes with everything in my book. So after it's heat set, I'm gonna buff off that extra powder from the anti-static tool. That was a dry rag. You'll see here in a little bit, I'm actually gonna come back and get the rest of that powder off with a damp rag, just a couple quick swipes. But I'm gonna trim this down to just a straight rectangle piece, not worrying about the sides right now because we'll trim those after we attach. So I'm just making sure my placement is nice and good. Here is where you can see the excess powder was still kind of bugging me, so I just took a damp rag, just a little bit of water, and a couple quick swipes gets that extra dust right off the black paper. You don't want to get it too wet because it'll warp, but just barely damp grabs that powder just fine. Okay, so I'm putting them where I want, and then I'm going to glue it down and then just trim those edges off with some scissors. You could actually use the die to die cut it and have it fit perfectly, but for these two short little pieces, I found it just easier for me to grab my scissors and do it, but either is an option. If it was a bigger piece and not just a sentiment strip, I probably would have grabbed the die so the shape was exact to the base. Lots of options there. So I just trimmed those two sides off to match. Then I'm gonna take the same wet adhesive and glue down my pup. Then I decided I wanted a little bit more embellishment, so I grabbed some sequin hearts I have in my stash and just added it. These are pretty much the same color red that's already on the pattern paper, and I like how I added just a few more hearts when the theme in the envelopes are this like little heart seal. So I work in odd numbers typically when I add embellishments, so I put 3 around the pup. And then I decided to balance off. I was gonna add 2 more down on the opposite corner. So odd numbers, I think, attract the eye better is what we're taught in art design. Honestly, I just like how they balance. So you add as many as you want or none at all. It's all optional. Now we just get to finish off the box. So we're going to glue that panel to the front of our handbag. And then we're gonna take those contrasting handles and glue them across the top. You wanna make sure you're lining up that little punched hole that's at the bottom of the handle. Hard to see in the video, but you'll see why here in a minute when we go to attach the bag. The handle goes on both sides. I did die cut too. So even though we didn't decorate the back, I wanna add the handle just for contrast. You could actually write a message on the back of the bag or decorate both sides. I just wanted to decorate one to kind of show how you don't have to do both sides, but you absolutely can if you want. So I'm just taking a little Teflon scoring tool and curling my paper some to make that bow a little more round. I find it a little easier. And then I'm grabbing a mini brad. So both the bow tails, and the bag have an identical hole punched in them. So I can take that mini brad and put it through all of them. I can either attach it just to the front, or you can use that mini bag to actually close the entire bag, as you can see here. So if you don't want things to fall out, that brad will hold it all together. I'm just grabbing my bone folder to fold down the wings of that brad because my fingers tend to get sore pushing and pulling on them. So that's a trick I tend to use. And that finishes off our bag. I can't wait to see what you guys make. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed today's project. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow along for more fun from Pixi Dust Designs. Bye-bye.